Today on Rappler. Former Congressman Zaldy Co accuses President Marcos and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez of orchestrating corruption in the 2025 national budget. Former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo claims Jinggoy Estrada, Grace Poe, and Sonny Angara received kickbacks from flood control projects. Bernardo also alleges former Public Works Chiefs Mark Villar and Manuel Bonoan oversaw a kickback scheme at the DPWH. And Rappler welcomes power couple Amal and George Clooney to Manila. Former Congressman Zaldy Co breaks his silence, alleging that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez orchestrated the insertion of 100 billion pesos worth of projects in the 2025 national budget. Co says this in a video statement on Friday, November 14, which happens to be the birthday of Romualdez, his former ally. He claims at the start of last year's bicameral conference committee deliberations on the 2025 budget, Budget Secretary Amenna Pangandaman told him the president had ordered billions in insertions. Presidential Legislative Liaison Office Head Adrian Bersamin allegedly confirmed it. Bersamin and Pangandaman supposedly met with Co and Romualdez about 100 billion pesos in government projects that the president allegedly wanted to insert in the budget.
Pagkatapos ng ilang araw, ay informed sina dating Speaker Martin Romualdez, Sekmina Pangandaman, Yusek Adrian Bersamin, and Yusek Jojo Cadiz na kung pwede 50 billion lang ang ipasok sa program funds dahil sobra ang DPWH funds versus sa DepEd. Pagkatapos ng isang araw, tinawagan ako ni Sekmina at sinabi ang mensahe ng Pangulo. Ipasok ninyo yan dahil pinangako na sa akin ni Speaker Martin yan at hindi na pwedeng baguhin.
Co also claims he left the Philippines on July 19 for a medical checkup abroad but was asked by Romualdez not to return. Speaking for the administration, Acting Communications Secretary Dave Gomez says Co's accusations are pure hearsay and without basis.
Rep. Zaldy Co should come back to the country and sign everything he said under oath with the proper judicial authorities.
Former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo names officials who allegedly received kickbacks from anomalous flood control projects. He links Senator Jinggoy Estrada, former Senator Grace Poe, and former Senator now Education Secretary Sonny Angara during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee's hearing on Friday, November 14. Bernardo claims a staff member of Poe named J.Y. De La Rosa asked whether she could be accommodated in the 2025 National Expenditure Program. He adds then DPWH Chief Manuel Bonoan later informed him that 500 million pesos in infrastructure projects would be allotted to Poe. Bernardo also says he worked with DepEd Undersecretary Trigiv Olivar during budget preparations when Angara chaired the Senate Finance Committee, the panel that sponsors the national budget.
Yusek Trigiv and I also had transactions concerning Senator Angara between 2019 and 2024, where Yusek Trigiv received deliveries representing 12% of the projects of Senator Sonny Angara, while the latter was chairman of finance.
Angara denies the claim in a post. Bernardo also provided more details on his supposed working relationship with Estrada, whom he first named during his testimony on September 25. Former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo says former Public Works Secretaries Mark Villar and Manuel Bonoan allegedly ran the kickback system at the agency, with then Undersecretary Cabral as the main operator of the scheme.
As a general rule, with very little exceptions, it is Yusek Maria Catalina Cabral, with the imprimatur of Secretary Mark Villar, and later continued by Sec Manny Bonoan, who had control at the DPWH level to remove, include, add, deduct, or modify insertions of items in the NEP for infrastructure or those pertaining to DPWH.
Villar promoted Bernardo to Undersecretary in 2017, but Bernardo says he was often sidelined as he was perceived to be against then-President Rodrigo Duterte. At the time, Bernardo said Cabral would clear all projects, acting on behalf of Villar. Bernardo also claims they collected 10% from these projects, half allegedly given to Villar's cousin Carlo Aguilar, presumably for Secretary Mark Villar. Bernardo said the rest was split between himself and Cabral. Carlo Aguilar and his family members co-own Motion Trade, a DPWH contractor. Bernardo also says he had direct knowledge of Bonoan's alleged involvement.
Sec Bonoan entrusted me with more operational functions and let me work more closely with Jose Cabral.
Bernardo became emotional when talking about Bonoan. He says he had a close relationship with his former boss. Rappler's founders welcome international human rights lawyer Amal Clooney and award-winning actor, director, and humanitarian activist George Clooney to Manila. This kicks off the days-long visit that culminates with the couple headlining Rappler's Social Goods Summit 2025. The couple pays a courtesy call to President Marcos on Friday morning, November 14 in Malacanang. Amal then speaks with Philippine lawyers and local civic groups in a forum at the UP College of Law BGC campus.
We are focused on both minimizing the potential harms of AI where they intersect with the justice sector, and also harnessing the power of AI. I mean, the starting point is AI is here, it's not going anywhere, so let's use it for good where we can.
Ombudsman Boying Remulla and former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales are present in the forum. Amal is set to deliver the opening address at the Social Goods Summit on Sunday, November 16, to tackle mounting global challenges to free speech and civil liberties. Amal says, quote, "The Philippines holds a special place in our hearts, a country of courageous journalists who have given up so much for press freedom, and of citizens who value the rule of law." George, whose father Nick Clooney was a longtime journalist, says he is excited to be in the Philippines and to support Rappler's work. And that's today's wrap. I'm Julian Cirineo. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the Rappler Communities app.